Hello, welcome to Kenshi. In Kenshi, you will spawn in a war-torn town, which upon leaving you will be greeted with a goat being eaten by a bone dog, being eaten by a skin spider, being eaten by a gorilla, being eaten by Beep, and think, yes. The Sheks are one of the strongest factions in Kenshi. All the Sheks follow their Shek mommy named Isada the Stone Golem. This leads us to our challenge. We will start in the city of Squinn, with no cats to our name. Also, the Holy Nation and United Cities hate us, so building a base will not be an option, unless we want a visit from Daddy Igor. The worst part of this challenge is we will have to play as a Shek. Yes, you heard me right, one of the worst races in the game. This is the Kenshi All Shek Challenge. This is our starter character, Horny the Shek. Why is he called Horny, you may ask? Well, it's because he has long horns. We awaken in the town of Squinn, with no cats to our name. Even with nothing to my name, as I leave the city, the guards still search my bags. I tried doing the Kenshi get-rich-quick method, but starving bandits attacked me in the process. This is when I realized I would not mine for money, or rob people. I would get all my money through combat methods, as a true honorable Shek warrior. To do this, I would need heavy weapons. Not these heavy weapons, these heavy weapons. But there's an issue. They're way too out of my current price range of 0 cats. I would need to find a way through combat to make this money. I decided that beating up starving bandits would be the best way to accomplish this, as it would give me cats through their loot and train up my combat skills. And the Traders Guild came in here and saved me from getting railed. I soon found my first unpaid worker to accompany me on my quest. Now with basic gear and supplies, I decided to hunt one of my first targets, Tora, leader of the Band of Bones. The Band of Bones camp was heavily defended, so I employed a strategy to lure them away from camp one by one and slime them out. This provided us good practice for Horny and Ruka to train their combat skills, and once the Band of Bones members were defeated, I was able to sell some of their gear for cats at a nearby tech hunter station. I eventually captured Tora and turned her in for 10k cats. With this money, I hired 2 new employees and purchased some other supplies. One of these employees, you would not have to remember their name. The next step on our quest was to defeat the Dust King. Also, if you've been wondering why I haven't been playing the background noise, here's why. After breaking into the Dust King's tower, the 4 horny ones engaged the Dust King's troops, but they were outnumbered 4 to 1 and inevitably fell. Remember when I mentioned foreshadowing earlier? Well, look who just died. A moment of silence for Beanhop. As the 3 Sheks played dead waiting for nightfall, the Dust King simply watched and watched, knowing his end would soon come. Just like real life, healthcare is too expensive, so the Dust King's troops slowly bled out throughout the day. Once the sun fell, I re-engaged the Dust King's troops. Eventually, the Dust King came out to fight us. As the troops distracted the men, I engaged the Dust King in a 1v1 duel. Eventually, the Dust King was slain, and his troops followed soon afterward. I left the surviving Dust Bandits in their own cages, and took the Dust King back to the Sheks. Turning in the Dust King and selling his loot gave me more cats than a cat lady, and allowed me to hire some more employees. With my new squad, I felt ready to go and take out Ghost, leader of the Berserkers. I employed the strategy of luring them out one by one. This allowed my troops to train up in their combat skills. Eventually, I captured the Ghost and turned her in for 10k cats. Even after turning in all the enemy's estate, the Shek mommy still did not like me. After acquiring more Sheks, I headed to the swamps, one of the worst places in the game, due to it being inhabited by primarily huge turtles and honest farmers selling fish and hashish. Sadly, hashish isn't allowed in Shek lands, so I had to settle with taking out the target. This did, however, grant me my first Mei-2 weapon, which was purely decorational, as I am only allowed to use heavy weapons as the Shek mommy intended. After hiring someone who considers themselves a giant, my next big target was Kral's Chosen. You may be thinking, aren't they allied with the big golem? Well, yes, but picture this. A group of traders enters the land, decide to trade. But then, Big K pulls up and derails them. This would be bad for our economy and public image as a Shek kingdom, so I went out to destroy them. While fighting some crawls, I pondered how I'd be able to break into their secret base. Luckily, a group of bugs wanted to trade and walked straight into Kral's secret base. This allowed me to walk straight in and start scalping all their goods. I even found the flying bolt just laying there for me. After turning the flying bolt in, I went to try to make an alliance with the Shek mommy. No, I will not give up. I'm Horny, the greatest Shek to ever live. I will make this alliance work. I talked to the Golem's advisor and tried to do the old bribery trick. Now 2 Sheks have growled at me today. I couldn't fight the Phoenix in my current state, so I had to do it. What if I kill the Bugmaster for you? And then I made fun of his horns. Arriving at Last Stand, after annoying the locals, the fierce warrior who went by the name Shek Warrior Last Stand Bar 2 told me that when Sheks get old, they get sent off to 1v1 the Bugmaster in a duel instead of taking up space in a retirement home. As a society, we could learn a lot from the world of Kenshi. The journey to the Bugmasters sucked, as there were too many spiders to count, but eventually I made it there and slept on the first floor, and prepared myself for the fight of a lifetime. I gathered my 4 strongest Sheks and charged. I'm starting to understand why his bounty has not been claimed yet. Fighting the Bugmaster was hard, due to him being able to tear through my men like paper, but eventually, a lucky blow was landed. After defeating the Bugmaster, I now had 2 made-to weapons to my name, and also I learned the Bugmaster had a side hobby of being a dentist. Oh yeah, and he had some map to someplace. After returning back to Last Stand, I met up with my good old friend Shek Warrior Last Stand Bar 2, and informed him that, well, he had to switch hobbies. After handing the Bugmaster to No Horns, I finally got the chance to talk to the Shek mommy. I was named an honorary invincible and was promised her daughter, Seto, in marriage. To train her in the art of combat. I then told the Stone Golem about my epic plans to destroy the Holy Nation. Which she agreed to help me in accomplishing. As I look back on my journey, I realized maybe Sheks aren't the worst race in Kenshi. Maybe they are simply misunderstood.